I'm joined by Adam Warner from Keen's Mustard Marketing, which is a specialized agency for PR marketing for market research industry itself, which is quite unique. So we thought, why not chat a little bit about the image of the market research industry? It's something that is touched upon a lot at the content today and throughout these days. It's a kind of a common topic within the industry itself, because as we know, the industry doesn't really market itself very well. So maybe we can start with, why do you think that is? What do you think are some of the challenges in that respect?
Well, I think first, if you look at the Who Owns the Data, the new Esomar Who Owns the Data report, you will see that the value of data is really appreciated in companies of all sizes, and in terms of the value of its ability to give you a competitive advantage. I think so. The value's there, but I think, and the market research industry are very good at, offering advice and strategy to marketing teams and insights teams, client side, but it's not an exchange. And I think if you look at the branding, and particularly when an agency is looking to speak to brand people and marketing people, if you look at the branding, you look at the websites, you look at the communications, it's not great. And I think that's a problem. And I think for me, what we see in the agency is it feels like market researchers don't quite understand the value of marketing and brand outside of providing advice on it. So yeah, I think that's definitely an issue. I also think that we need to make research sexy again. I find it very cringeworthy. I think sexy is a very superficial thing. I think research it's fascinating, it's beautiful, it's about understanding, it's very philosophical. It's about understanding why people do things and the way they do them. And I think we can afford as an industry to be a bit deeper than make research sexy to, bring new people in. Because you would say that advertising, for example, is an example of a sexy industry. But they also have issues with bringing people in and recruitment and retention. They have the exact same issues that research does. But then, that's considered a very sexy industry.
You mentioned something very, I thought, quite peculiar, because I can imagine that it's a common understanding that research isn't known from the ones that commission the research or look for the research. But you actually mentioned the other perspective, that actually researchers themselves also don't understand the value of what they provide for the ones they provide it to. And I actually think to be honest, that's the first time I hear of this perspective, and it's certainly not something that people talk about. How do you think we can change that?
I don't know. Again, I think it's showing impact. And one of the problems we have at the agency when people come to us is it's very similar issues that a research agency is going to have with clients. It's things to do with budget. It's about showing impact and ROI on marketing spend in the same way that they show impact and ROI on market research spend. And I think what we find is that the marketing teams, they'll hire juniors in, or they've not got the people there that have the experience to say, actually, this is how much we spend on marketing. This is the direct kind of return on that. And we've got new business worth X. We've got new leads coming in and things like that. And I think that's what marketing teams in market research need to do a little bit better.
Basically, the research agencies themselves don't really necessarily understand or see the value in investing or developing their own marketing strategies, really.
Yeah, and I think one of the big problems is that when everything's going well, you don't think about marketing. So if you've got loads of business coming in, everything's looking great, you don't think about it. I think a really good example would be an old client of ours. One of their clients in turn was 60% of their business. It was a gaming company. When they lost that client, suddenly they just lost 60% of their revenue. And that's when they started thinking about marketing and PR. And we did some really interesting work for them. We got some studies in field, some self-funded research studies that we're going to do really well in press. But before we could even get to the press, the company had folded. So it's really sad because they're a really nice bunch of guys. It's just when things are going well, you don't think about it, but when things are going badly, it's probably you're starting too late already. So it needs to be a continuous thing throughout.
So if we can sum up some of the key things or the key messages in your professional experience, again, you mentioned a little bit about the impact, about the importance of what market research does. What would be kind of the key approach that you would take in a very kind of summarized way as to how market research should look into promoting itself?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, obviously, it's communications. So you do a research project, and at the end of that research project, you're starting a communications project then. Once the fieldwork's done, it's a communications project. And I think market research agencies, even like panel suppliers, everyone needs to think about that more as a more important factor and start either bringing talent in-house or look for an agency. But I think North Star, as an example, are a really great, interesting agency that have got a lot of comms experience in-house, and they've got researchers that are, to be fair, experts in what they do in communicating insights and the value of their work, which I think is really good.
That was very interesting. Thank you very much, Adam, for a very inspiring talk. So basically, a summary, market research needs to pay a little bit more attention about our image and actually understand the value of and the importance of that, not only in times of crisis, but overall. Thank you very much. Thank you, Adam. It was a pleasure. Thank you.